South Indian food is way beyond than idli, dosa, chutney, sambar, vada, and all that. I've seen some traumatizing versions of dosa, like ocean blue dosa, Mickey Mouse dosa, Burj Khalifa. The list just goes on. I mean, a lot of people would hate me to say this, but I like pineapples in my food. Not just pizza, where one reel can take your business to another level. One viral reel by an influencer can do wonders for you. I would say I would love to see Batman and see his dark food choices, because I think I'll also love it. Let's see. You're putting me in a tough spot now.
Yeah.
I have not watched Friends. So.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now
you can come at me,
rapid
guys.
fire.
Not for pineapple pizza, but for this you can come at me. Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of Kofluence Unplugged, your backstage pass to the dynamic world of influencer marketing. I'm your host Aritra, and today we are serving you a delectable episodes where there are plenty of fresh insights, some juicy conversations and discussions around an industry where both influencers, marketers, as well as food collide. Yes, food influencer marketing. Joining me today we have Zafir, who dons multiple hats. He is a seasoned food influencer himself, while he has also seen the brand and agency side of things. So we would love to definitely hear a lot of insights from his end. So without any further delay, let's get all the insider scoop straight from the source. Hi Zafir, welcome to the show. How are you doing? Can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, your background, and maybe what got you into this journey?
Answering your first question, I'm doing good. I hope you are doing good,
I'm
wishing
great.
you a happy new year.
Yeah, same to you too. Very happy new year to our audiences as well.
Talking about myself, I am a full-time content creator and an influencer with a keen interest in coffee, food, my personal recommendations of where to eat, where to find halal food, and all these things. And my journey has started in I think end of 2016 and the beginning of 2017, and that's when I came to Bangalore. So I am basically from Bombay, born and brought up. I did my schooling, colleges, everything there. But my first job got me to Bangalore, and when I came to Bangalore, it was like an eye-opener for me, because being my whole life, I think 22, 23 years of my life, I was in Bombay, and there is a certain type of a perception, or maybe you can call it stereotype, that South Indian food is just idli, dosa, vada, chutney, sambar, that's all. But when I came here and I started living in Bangalore, that's when it was like an eye-opener, because I found out it is way beyond than idli, dosa, chutney, sambar, vada, and all that. And I mean, people, when they watch this, they'll find it funny, but I was shocked that South Indian food also has non-vegetarian option, and so many.
Yeah.
Many
usually when you think about South Indian food, it's your South Indian breakfast.
Correct.
Dosa, vada, idli, and that's about it.
Yeah. Right. So I mean, there are people who move to Bangalore and they don't know. So people maybe laugh on them or something, but I relate to them because it happened to me. And when I got to explore, and I was so fascinated, and I was instantly in love with the food, the people, the culture, and the language here, that I decided that okay, I should talk about it with my friends back in Bombay. So back then, 16-17, Instagram was just a photo sharing platform. So I used to share random pictures of my filter coffee, my DBC, my dosa, my biryani, and all that, and I used to write big captions, and that's when I realized people don't read captions much. So I was in a search of a platform to talk about food in general, and I used to travel a lot. I used to travel to different regions of India, specifically like North India, Himachal, and all that. So I used to do that because I love food. I'm passionate about food, and I wanted to discover new cuisine, new styles of foods. And then I was in a point where I had a lot of time, and I wanted to talk about it to someone, to people, that okay, South Indian food in general is not just about idli or dosa. So I found out a platform called LBB. So back then LBB had a program called LBB Insiders, where a bunch of food enthusiasts, fashion enthusiasts. They used to write recommendations. So that's when I started writing. Maybe you can call a blogging journey began, where I started writing on LBB, and then I used to share those pictures on Instagram, saying that for the whole blog, check out my article on LBB. That's how it began on Instagram, and slowly through my travels, through my food pictures and all that, slowly I started gaining followers, and the pandemic hit. So another thing about my background, I'm a mechanical engineer by qualification, and I worked for 6.5 years in corporate companies, and this was my passion, a hobby. And in pandemic, when I saw that there's a huge wave of creator economy coming in, everybody is becoming a creator, so I kind of realized that this is the time to bank on, and I've been doing this since 4-5 years now. Let me take it very seriously,
Right.
and start learning about it. I had a lot of time at my disposal while I was in lockdown, and I learned about digital marketing. I did few courses on video editing, and then I was very fortunate at that time that I was a part of the first ever Born on Instagram program, where they were teaching us how to monetize, how to nail your content game. And they were going very big on IGTV back then.
Right.
And they were supposed to introduce monetization, like ad revenues and all that in IGTV. So I was a part of that, and then suddenly Reels happened, and then a new field called digital marketing emerged. So that caught my interest. And because I had a lot of time, I got curious, and I started to learn, read about what digital marketing is, what is a creator economy, how you can monetize. And then this being my hobby and my passion, I thought, okay, why not? So the very next year, 2021, I left my job and I started creating content full time. And to sustain, initially it was difficult because again, my interest lies in the F&B industry. And that was the industry which was one of the most affected during pandemic.
Right.
So there was no collaboration opportunities, restaurants were shut and all that. So I decided I will educate brands. I saw that gap, that I will educate the restaurant industry or restaurant brands that you should come on Instagram, create your brand presence on Instagram. So I started my small agency where I was working alone, and I was helping 2-3 restaurants in my area, which I used to be regular at, to get on Instagram, create content for them, host influencers for them, because so there are so many food influencers and enthusiasts who are my friends. So I used to invite them, host them. So that's how it all began.
Right. It's been quite a journey then in
Yes.
that case. Now, since you've been in this space for so long,
Correct.
you'd know that before influencer marketing came into the picture, the F&B industry was very saturated, I would say, at some point, because there was intense competition.
Yes.
But the most prevalent marketing technique was word of mouth marketing at that
Absolutely.
point.
Absolutely.
Right? Positive reviews were
Yes.
very crucial for your
Yes.
business, and negative reviews could be very damaging
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
Do you think with the advent of influencer marketing that equation has changed, or is it still the same?
Absolutely, because back then a lot of weightage used to be given to Google reviews and Zomato reviews.
Right.
So as you said, a good review would make your business and a bad review would break it.
Right.
So that was the weightage back then, and a lot of people used to talk about the Zomato levels that they are on, the Google levels that they are on as a Google local guide or a Zomato reviewer. But Reels have changed everything. Reels has been the pivotal point, not just for Instagram, but as a creator economy, as a influencer marketing as a field, collectively, where one reel can take your business to another level. One viral reel by an influencer can do wonders for you.
Right. I think even in Bangalore, we see now there are so many local pages, and
Yes.
they are not like community of influencers,
Exactly.
you would
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
And banking on that, as you mentioned, that now they hold a lot of power, right? Also, what we see now is a lot of these local and niche influencers are outperforming these broader influencers and larger influencers in gaining the consumers' attention, right? So my question here is, how do you think niche and local influencers help marketers reach specific communities?
What do you call, the micro influencers play a very pivotal role. Like you mentioned, word of mouth marketing. They are very important for the word of mouth marketing. Because see, as if I talk about myself, I really like coffee, and I belong to a Muslim community, and I personally eat a lot. Like I'm very conscious about what I'm eating. Is it halal or not?
Right.
And people actually trust my reviews. There's a social responsibility that has come to me, and it is very niche.
Right.
It is not applicable for everybody. It is very niche. It is a dietary preference, you can say.
Yeah.
But people who follow that dietary preference take my review or my suggestion very seriously, because I belong to the same community.
Right.
So that's the power of community. How big or small, that depends. But if you are building a community around a niche, that is the best thing.
I think what we've also seen is there's been a rise of communities lately. Like there are influencers who promote just vegan products, or maybe there's also lifestyle choices that they promote. As you mentioned, halal being one of them. Then keto diet and so much more. Right. And personally, I think if I am a vegan brand and I want to reach that community, what better way to do it than a vegan influencer?
Yeah.
Right?
It gives the brand or a product a lot of credibility if the influencer they choose is also following what they are preaching, Right. So if I don't eat halal, or if I don't, like if I have no knowledge in coffee and I go out and talk about coffee, people will not believe me or the brand. There's no credibility there.
Right.
So that's how building community around what you are actually doing is very powerful.
Very powerful. So now I think let's head on to some more controversial questions.
Ooh.
People might have some polarizing views on it.
Okay.
I would love to hear your perspective on things.
Yes.
So recently we have seen this phenomenon where food influencers are requesting for a lot of free meals for say exposure or reviews that they will provide, right? And there also have been instances where restaurant owners have called out such influencers for expecting and making demands.
Yes.
Right. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think that's the right way for influencers to go about?
That is not the right way, or absolutely the most ridiculous way. Because what happens is such people put people who actually want to pursue this field as a career, they put them down. There are two sides to it. One, if I, who's like a full-time influencer and has a certain level of credibility, is collaborating, is approached by a brand, and if I ask them a certain commercial, brands, like I have had instances where brands have told me that there are hundreds of people standing in the line who are ready to do it for free.
Right.
So you kill the market by doing that. So, and if you are approaching brands, approaching brands is not bad. In this case, restaurants is not bad, but approach them by giving them value.
Right.
If you are showing what value you bring to the table for them, then yes. But at the same time, you should be you should value yourself first. Like what exactly you're bringing to the table and how much will you charge for it. Don't kill the market that way. So that's not absolutely a wrong way to go ahead.
Yeah, there should be value proposition on both ends, right? Also, what we see a lot of the time is it's not just the influencers themselves. They have a group of friends along with them, and somehow they expect that the entire table would be catered for.
That's pathetic.
For free.
That's unethical, I would say.
I think there's even a term for this in the restaurant community called blogger blackmailing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know about it.
But I found out this lately, and I thought, okay, that's very interesting that
that's
even there's a term for it now.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know about the term, but I know this thing exists, and it's very unethical.
Yeah.
Maybe the influencers, bloggers, creators should not do that. See, if a brand is offering you something, respect it because it's a part of your work, and don't exploit it, is what I say, because there are some people in every field, they exploit their authority, so let's not do that.
Right. There is also, and since we're talking about trends here, there's also this new trend of wasteful eating, I would say, wherein influencers order this huge quantities of food, and what they do with it post-shoot, nobody knows. Right. And do you think in some way influencers now, with these so many trends coming up, I mean, trends are coming in every day, right? With so many trends coming up, influencers sometimes maybe intentionally or unintentionally promote excessive consumerism when it's not needed?
I think it's unintentional, but I wouldn't support it. Why? Because as you rightly said, there's a trend. Specifically, I would stand up for the community in Bangalore. because I belong from that and I personally know people and myself, like we are very conscious about it, that we don't waste food. And it's like, I'm really proud to say that the Bangalore community is very, very conscious about it. But as you rightly said, there is a trend, but if you notice that that's a trend in North India. A lot of North Indian cities, I would not name any city, creators, bloggers from there, they approach street food vendors saying that if I create a video, it'll go viral, but you have to create this thing, like maybe like a 4 feet long roll, or maybe like a dosa ice cream and all that, such bizarre food combination just for views. They themselves don't consume it. There is no video of them consuming it themselves. They're just doing it to, build their clout, to get viral. That's all. And it should not be there. Like, I don't support that.
Maybe if they're donating that food after the shoot, that still would make it somehow okay, but I don't think that's done in most cases, right? And you might have also heard about mukbanging. If you're a food influencer, you would know. I think we've all watched a mukbang video at some point. I mean, it's a guilty pleasure for most people. You might have heard about influencers like Nico Cardo Avocado. Then there is Stephanie Su. They are famous for doing these mukbang videos where there's like huge quantities of food and they consume it all in one video. Do you think influencers can be held accountable at all for how their audiences, how their dietary choices are being, changed because they follow these influencers? I mean, do they bear any responsibility towards that?
First of all, I would want to ask them, what exactly are they influencing?
Right.
I mean, see, first you call yourself food influencers, and then you sit in front of a camera, you eat huge amounts of food. What exactly are you influencing? They're not even promoting brands.
Yeah, they're not.
You don't see any brand promotions. I mean, I would be like, okay, fine, if you're promoting a brand that, okay, this noodle is so delicious that I'm eating like 15 packets of it. Right. It makes sense. But he or she can eat it because it's their, ability to eat. They have that appetite. But as a viewer, what exactly you're consuming, it's up to you. So there is a set of audience, as you rightly said, but I don't see that trend coming to India much. There in some regions like Maharashtra or something, there are creators who are doing that, and like they have gained celebrity status as well. But what next?
I mean, virality is one thing, but how conscious
how
you are.
How sustainable virality is.
Yeah, that is definitely a question. Since we are talking about ethical considerations here, also a latest trend, I mean, it's not a trend per se, but what we see is a lot of the time food influencers promote certain lifestyle choices or certain health products without having the adequate knowledge or the nutritional, expertise to back up these claims. Do you think, again, they have a responsibility?
They do. They definitely. Like, I began this podcast by saying that I have taken this as a social responsibility to, create conscious content, basically. So it's not like I was not eating halal before. I was. But now I'm being very careful and even more conscious. Like you rightly said, that if a creator is following a vegan lifestyle, it makes sense for a brand to approach them because they are following that. They know, they have researched it, they have implemented it on themselves, and then they are going and promoting it. Right. If you want to follow, you can follow. They are not, making it like mandatory on you to follow. But yeah, if you follow them and you want to follow a certain type of a lifestyle, you follow a certain creator because they are themselves doing that. They have done adequate amount of research. They have been living that lifestyle for n number of years. That is where the value addition is. If you're doing it just for money, for how long you will be sustaining?
You might have recently heard about the case with Bonvita. There was a recent incident wherein a food influencer made certain claims about how Bonvita products are very unhealthy for you. Their drinks are filled with sugar. When in response to this, then Bonvita came up with their own statement saying that that's not the case and his claims were unscientific. However, the damage was done because the reel that he initially created garnered over 12 million views. And even some celebrities promoted that video. So again, like, it just takes one reel or one video to go viral, right?
If he was wrong, if that person was wrong, we all have seen the reel. If he was wrong, Bonvita wouldn't come back and remove the sugar content or reduce the sugar content, which happened pretty recently. He did his research. Yes, he did face a lawsuit from Bonvita, from Cadbury's, to, putting their name down, basically. But in the end, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Because he had a certain level of research involved in that,
Yeah.
and he did state some facts.
Mm-hmm.
Bonvita came back and they did reduce the sugar content. It happened pretty recently, I think
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah. So basically, it's accountability on both ends, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I think
If he was wrong,
Yeah.
he would have faced a massive lawsuit,
Yeah.
also a defamation case,
Right. Right.
and gone. His career was gone,
Yeah.
but
So-
he's still there.
Yeah. Basically, accountability is
Yes.
not
There
the
is-
onus doesn't lie
yes.
with one
There
stakeholder
is a
itself.
certain level of responsibility as a creator you need to have, and accountability followed by it.
Now, for all the food influencers that are currently watching our episode, can you give us your insights and strategies on what they can do to grow their audiences organically?
I would say I'm a very wrong person to say that, because I am not consistent with my content.
Okay.
See, even these social media platforms also insist you to be consistent, be catch on to the trends and all that. I don't do all that, because I feel that content creation for me, it started as a passion, as a hobby. I do want to monetize. I am actually monetizing, but I don't want to have that pressure of numbers. I am trying to build a community. See, followers, again, like quick insight, Instagram, you can build a following. So if I talk from the business perspective, it's more like customer acquisition. But to create loyal customers, you need to take them off Instagram. And I follow the same strategy. So to build followers, I would be the wrong person, because I myself don't have a massive following. But what I am doing here is I'm trying to build a community. I have figured out my niche. My communication revolves around the niche. I am very well researched, very well responsible of what I'm putting out, the quality of it, the fact checks and everything. And I am building a community offline. I have a very engaged WhatsApp community. I have now Instagram has given broadcast features, so I have a community there. Then I have an offline community as well, where I meet people, talk to people, and it's a very give and take relationship. And that's what matters for a creator for a long term. Numbers, yes, but how long would you be sustaining on virality or numbers is what my thought process is.
Right. Since you mentioned community, I think leveraging your own community also comes into play, right?
Yes.
We've seen a lot of food influencers collaborating with each other.
Exactly.
With that, what happens is there is basically a cross-pollination of audiences.
Yes.
I mean, if somebody is watching another food influencer, they would typically be interested in
Correct.
food content.
Correct.
So they would naturally be gravitated to your content as well
100%.
if you collaborate with
100%.
them. There are so many avenues they can explore, right? They can do maybe shared dining experiences,
Yeah.
co-creating recipes together,
Yes.
doing events. Have
Yes.
you explored any of those?
Absolutely. So my work gives me that privilege to explore all that. Since I mentioned that I handle few restaurants and brands and their marketing, social media, I also work very hard in creating IPs.
Right.
Ideating and creating IPs, and the very recent one that we did was to create an influencer-led menu
Okay.
at a cafe in Bangalore, which basically it's a very curated menu. It can be like a menu thing or one dish by one influencer, and that brings a lot of credibility. See, you then talk to your audience and reach out to them saying that, hey, my dish, my dessert, my coffee, my menu is live in this cafe, go. So that builds a very organic relationship with you and your audience or your community, and then the brand leverages very organically from that.
Right.
Imagine the amount of customers getting converted when I am creating my own cup of coffee
Right.
for a brand. So
Yeah.
that is what I have already explored, and I still have a lot of few ideas to explore with more of my clients. Let's see.
That's actually an excellent idea. I mean, that sounds very, very interesting.
Yes.
Have you had a lot of audiences drawn to
Yes.
the restaurants because of this?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll be very proud, and I'll say this, that I am very well known for Ramzan content in Bangalore.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
explore the Ramzan food that happens throughout the city. And there are like one or two dishes that are genuinely my favorite. Like I go there, I try, there's one dessert specifically that and it is only available during that month. So I go there every day and try it.
Okay.
And I share it with my community. And I've seen, like, I meet people on a very random time or a random duration, not even Ramzan, they tell and they remember me by that dish. Like, you had recommended that dessert, we've gone there and tried and we've loved it. So that's the power.
Yeah, I think that's what brand marketers should
That-
also
exactly,
leverage
exactly.
when promoting their food
Exactly.
or restaurant
Yeah.
business.
So
Right?
sadly, what's happening is, like, it's part of the work industry. Brands do tend to see the numbers, but they fail to see the credibility. Somebody out there would have massive numbers, but they would not give you the kind of conversions that another creator who's actually loving and promoting the products genuinely will give you.
I think audience engagement is a big factor here. I mean,
Exactly.
how well can you actually engage your audiences?
Exactly.
They shouldn't just be a number on your feed, right?
Yeah.
How much do they actually follow you and
Correct.
actually value your recommendation?
I mean, there's a lot of again a responsibility here to build your own credibility. Credibility will not happen on its own. You have to build your own credibility. So personally, if I collaborate with a brand, say for example a salon, if I collaborate with a salon, I make sure and I turn down very consciously any further collaboration of any further salon that approaches me, no matter if they are paying or not, because I want to build a certain credibility on my page for myself. That is what I'm chasing, and I'm not chasing any kind of clout or number. And I think this level of responsibility and credibility should be there in a creator or an influencer that you are trying to be, or as an audience you should look in this quality in an influencer so that you follow them before you follow them.
Right. I think also being a budding content creator, there are so many aspects that you need to
Yes.
look into, like
Yes.
what do you do, what's the right way to go about
Correct.
things, right? Especially now with platforms, there are so many
Algorithms, yeah.
changes that are coming in.
Yeah.
You've been active on Instagram for a long time. Do you think with the changes in these algorithms, has that impacted you as an influencer in any way, or
No.
has there been a good to it?
See, again, your engagement is very subjective. See, if you're looking at virality and numbers, if that's your perspective, then yes, you will be heavily impacted. It will affect your mental health and your creativity. See, this is my art. This is how I express myself. I don't want it to affect my mental health or my creativity. So this doesn't affect me. But if numbers are your perspective, then definitely yes, because again, I said virality is not sustainable. One day you have like 5 million views on your reels. The next day you're struggling to reach 20,000. And then you have to blame it on somebody, and you blame it on algorithm. If you build a very engaged community, if you're like very genuine to yourself and very well engaged with your audience, and you build a very strong community, it doesn't matter how you post, when you post, even if you post daily or not, it doesn't matter.
Right. I think it's very easy to
Yes.
blame algorithms in
Yes.
this case.
Yes.
What we have seen historically is that the new changes in Instagram has been for the better for influencers, because before they had this reverse chronological thing in feeds.
Correct.
Now that's changed to rank-based
Yes.
feed.
See, again, what I feel is, if you consider this, so personally, this is an art for me. This is my art form, and I don't want to be at a mercy of any platform to express myself. So the platform is evolving. Yes, it is evolving for the betterment of the influencer. Yes. In the end, it's a technology. It will be buggy. It will have some flaws. It will have some pros and cons. You don't have to worry about it. If you have a community, if you have a very tightly knit community that you're talking to them on a daily basis or on a regularly basis, I wouldn't say daily basis because I myself don't do that, on a regular basis, and you give them genuine recommendations, and you're very credible about it, they'll stay. They'll stay, they'll take your... See, there has been instances where some of my reels that have gone viral, people don't even try that. They just see it and it's just viral. Okay. There are videos which have barely gotten like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 views. I've gotten people messaging me, or whenever I happen to meet them, they tell me that, hey, you had suggested that cafe. I actually went it and I tried it. It's amazing. That gives me joy. And I think everybody should focus on that,
Right.
including brands.
Right. Yeah. Everybody in the industry.
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you think are some emerging trends that you see will play a big role in the food influencer marketing space. I'm not talking about influencer trends here. I'm more so focusing on
Product
trends.
focus?
Yeah, trends. As a brand marketer, what are the trends that you need to know about when you do your influencer marketing campaigns, especially in the F&B sector?
The current trend that I see coming is non-alcoholic drinks. Yes, and there's a big trend coming in the coffee industry. Cities like Mumbai are picking up the coffee wave. I mean, Bangalore has always been in the forefront, but now you see cities like Hyderabad, Mumbai that are, I see so many cafes popping up, and not just any cafe, specialty coffee cafes. So that is some trend that I foresee.
So Zafir, how we usually conclude our episodes is with a quick rapid fire round.
Right.
So are you ready for some
Yes.
fire?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's hope it's not too spicy.
Okay. Look, that's exactly what we want. Trust us. So the first question for you is, what's your favorite food joint in Bangalore? And just one.
You're putting me in a tough spot now.
Yeah.
Let me think. See, I'll be very honest. I don't have a specific food joint. It is on my mood, to be honest. So someday, if I crave some really good eggs, I go to Indian Coffee House to have their scrambled eggs. If someday I crave for some shawarma, there are 2-3 spots in Kamanhalli where I'm regular at. So it depends on my mood. So I don't have one joint.
Okay. Very, very diplomatic here. I see. What's your preferred social media platform?
Instagram.
Okay. What is the most weirdest food trend you've seen recently on social media?
Oh, the different versions of dosas. It's so annoying. It's very, very annoying.
So are you talking about the 99 variety dosas?
No. I mean, that is still tolerable.
Tolerable.
Yeah.
Keyword
that
here.
is still tolerable. But if you see, like, I've seen some traumatizing versions of dosa, like Ocean Blue dosa, Mickey Mouse dosa, Burj Khalifa. Oh, the list just goes on.
Okay.
It's very irritating. I mean, there's this guy called the Kurta guy. He's a very funny guy. He actually reviews these bizarre dosas, and it's very fun to watch, but not so fun to eat. Trust me.
Have you tried any of
No,
these?
I would stay away. I would stay away.
Any weird food combination that influencers have made you try?
I would say I love a lot of weird food combinations.
Tell us your best.
I mean, a lot of people would hate me to say this, but I like pineapples in my food. Not just pizza. I have tried pineapple in like different foods. Like I've tried pineapples in burgers.
Yeah.
In pizzas, obviously. In shawarma. See, pineapple goes well with meat. If you have it with meat, it tastes well. But if you don't like it, don't try it.
Yeah. Personally, even I like pineapple on pizza. And I think people who don't like it or complain too much about it just don't have an evolved palate.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to say.
Yeah, I didn't say it. She said it.
Yeah. It's all me. But that's just my personal opinion. Even your mint, chocolate chip mint cookies.
Who doesn't like that?
There's so many people who don't like it.
There's a brand called After 8.
Okay.
It's a chocolate brand. The
That-
After 8.
Achha.
It's mint and dark chocolate.
Right.
It's the best thing you could have.
Exactly. And I love it. But then there are people who say it tastes like toothpaste for some reason.
No, I wouldn't consider it bizarre at all.
Yeah.
Pineapple, yeah, there are some people who are like, affected by the combination.
Yeah.
But mint and chocolate is a good combination.
Totally with you.
Yeah.
Okay. If there was a fictional character you would love to see as a food influencer, who would that be?
Fictional character as a food influencer. Okay, this is a tough one. I'll take time. This is not gonna be rapid.
Okay. I'll tell you mine.
Huh.
Just to help you gather your thoughts. I would think Joey would be a great influencer.
Okay.
Joey from Friends.
I have not
he's
watched Friends. So.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now
you can come at me,
rapid
guys.
fire.
Not for pineapple pizza, but for this you can come at me. Yeah.
So I think Joey from Friends would become
Okay.
would be a really good influencer because he loves his food. He does not like sharing his food.
I would say, now I know. I would say I would love to see Batman and see his dark food choices because I think I'll also love it. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that.
I mean, yeah, Batman. All things dark.
Okay. And finally, last question. If there is one advice you would like to give food influencers out there, one piece of advice that anybody who's new to the space should know about, what would that be?
I would say value your content, build credibility, build a community, not a clout.
Great. I think that's quite a mic drop statement to
Yes.
end this episode with. It was really great having you
Thank
with
you
us,
so much.
Zafir.
It was fun. This was amazing.
Yeah, really insightful as well. And I think a
I'm-
lot
I'm
of
so
content
glad.
creators who are watching our episode will
I
benefit
hope.
from this. So thanks a lot
Thank
for
you so
being
much
here
for
with
having
us.
me. It was fun doing this. Thank you.
Now, before I sign out, remember the golden trio: like, share, and subscribe to Kofluence Unplugged. To each one of you who tune into our episodes, thank you so much. Your support really means a lot to us and gets us going. So appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And until our next episode, stay happy, stay kind, and keep Kofluencing. Bye.